And welcome again to another Newark Academy Coach's Corner. Today I'm joined by our varsity fencing coach, Coach Dan Bailey Yavonditte. Coach BY, very, very nice to have you here today.
Thank you.
So I'm going to start off by asking, the first question. And that first question is, where did you begin your coaching career and why did you become a coach?
I think my coaching, like my first opportunity to coach was coaching hockey. Coaching hockey summer camps. This was before I started fencing, and having that opportunity to teach others was really amazing. For fencing, my coaching came in college. I fenced for a Division III program. We had a couple good fencers in the team, but overall the program wasn't as strong as it could have been. And my junior and senior years, I started taking the opportunity to kind of run our saber practices. As I graduated, he wanted to bring me on as an assistant coach. And so for a number of years, I coached college. Like coaching has been something that has kept through everything else that I've done, doing theater, acting, fight choreography, through going into ministry and being a chaplain for a hunger program in Brooklyn, to teaching. So through multiple graduate degrees, coaching is something that I've been doing the entire time.
Our second question, Coach, for you is, were there mentors in your career that you model your coaching style after?
The first person I think of when I think of who my coach was when I was a fencer was Alex Jeffries. When I started working with him, he was the head coach for the Canadian women's saber team. Definitely the person that influenced me the most as a fencer, and his drive to learn from whoever to become better. It didn't really matter. After he passed away, Carolyn Washburn took over that program, and she is still what I think is one of the top saber coaches in the country. And lastly, not so much a coach, former boss and friend, Kent Bussman. He helped me look at the whole person as a coach and a teacher. It's not just about the athletes, but the student athlete. We look at a whole person. How do we care for a whole person? How do we make sure that we're meeting their needs, not just as athletes, but as students, as people? We're not just graduating students and sending them off. We're looking to have people who are going to be active and positive influences in their communities, far beyond their sport, far beyond when they leave Newark Academy. These are the people that are going to go out and change the world. And I want fencing and their experience at NA to be a part of it.
So what do you look for when you're looking at the ideal student athlete, especially in fencing?
I think fencing's unique in a lot of ways. For fencing, it's a distinctly individual sport, much like swimming can be, much like tennis can be. But for high school and college fencing, it's the one opportunity that they get to be a part of a team and work as a team to compete against other programs, to compete against other people. What I'm looking for in an ideal student athlete is someone who has a passion for the sport, someone who's also dedicated to their teammates, and someone who's looking for every opportunity to learn from their.
Tell me about what you've just mentioned, how does that sort of speak to what values you look to instill in your players? You spoke a little bit about overcoming anxiety and learning from it. What other values do you look to instill in your players through fencing?
I know for me, and when I was a college coach trying to pitch students to universities, fencers are great at solving problems on their own, and about being able to do that and accomplish that on their own. Again, like for high school and college, it's that opportunity to be able to work with other people. And if you're able to do both, being able to work on your own and complete things on your own, complete goals, activities, whatever it is, on your own to be successful, but also be able to do that same thing well with a group of people. Those are skills that they're going to be able to take to college, to the workforce, out into the world with other people, and to be able to do that. And so,
the sport of fencing is a winter sport here in New Jersey. And I know that you got through your entire season last season. Now we're in the middle of another season. Tell me a little bit and tell us a little bit about some of the challenges fencing has faced and how you've dealt with some of those complex seasons and part of the complexities of scheduling.
It's been unique, obviously, in a lot of ways. I think for us, one of the benefits I've found is that the way we've decided to break up our schedule and to reduce the numbers in the fencing room for practices, where I'm meeting just with one weapon squad. I meet with the men's and women's squads at the same time. So I'll meet with saber on one day, I'll meet with foil on another day, I'll meet with epee on another day. And having that, just being able to focus on one weapon for me and not to have to define my time and be able to set up something that is cohesive for an entire practice just for the one weapon has been really great. I think it's been valuable not only for our new fencers who are just learning the sport, but valuable for our experienced fencers who want to dedicate themselves and refine that skill. I think the big struggle with our season has been that there's going to be no big events. The Santelli Citrullo, which is one of the, if not the largest high school event of its kind in the world, is not happening this year. Events, state events, prep states, and the state final are not happening this year. And both of our programs this year, for our guys program coming off a state victory last year, people are coming up to me and saying, hey, we feel really bad for you because this team looks like it's going to be another state championship team. And I've also been hearing from people who seeing our revitalized women's program are kind of like disappointed for us as well, because they see our women's program as being something that is highly competitive and one of the top teams in the state. I can't disagree with them.
Talk to me a little bit about why, especially from a fencing perspective, why should a prospective student come to Newark Academy, especially if you're interested in fencing?
I think it's broken up into a couple things. One, we have a competitive program. We've always had a team that has attracted like good fencers here and there. My work with this program is not just to attract those individual good fencers, but to build up good fencers with our program as well. We're unique that we have a middle school and high school program. There's a few other schools in the state that do that. For the high school varsity program, we really work on balancing the high school season alongside the local, regional, national, and even international events as well. We have fencers that compete on all levels, and we want to make space for our new fencers to get passionate about and improve in the sport, and for them to learn from our high-level fencers. There's a number of programs that have kids who go to their schools that fence nationally and internationally, and they show up to a practice here or there, and then they'll show up to the big event. For us, it's about getting those top fencers to not only just show up for those big events, but show up for our regular dual meets, because they're a part of the team. They're not an add-on to the team. For NA, we have dedicated strength and athletic trainers. We have those dedicated strength trainers, athletic trainers, to keep our fencers well-rounded. But also, if we want to, we can focus in and be sport specific on a lot of the conditioning that we end up doing. And lastly, we have a state-of-the-art facility. We're one of two programs in the state, high school programs in the state, possibly the country, that has its own dedicated facility. Ours has sprung flooring, 5 built-in strips, and we're still like kind of tweaking the space to make it something that is unique for high school fencing. We utilize it every day. Kids are on the strip every day when we have practice. It's something that you're not going to find in other programs. You don't have to take time to set up strips in a dusty cafeteria. You get to fence on pretty much what people are fencing on at national and international events every day. And I will argue that if you combine our fencing program and our academic program, you're not going to find better in New Jersey.
First of all, congratulate you publicly and say congratulations on being the National Coach of the Year fencing, National High School Coach of the Year last year. With that being said, and not to imply that you're not of this young age group and young demographic, but what piece of advice would you give to a young coach who's just beginning their coaching career?
I think being an athlete is a big part of it. I've worked with a number of young coaches over the years who might not have been fencers, but they've been athletes in their own sports. And I think just being an athlete is a good start. The second thing is, and I think the biggest thing is caring about the whole student. It's not just about their athletics. It's about who they are as an academic person, who they are as a person in general. They're student athletes, and we're supporting them academically and athletically, but they are also people. And how do we help them be better people? And if we're caring about that as coaches, caring about their whole person, not only are they going to be feeling welcome into our program and feeling like they're a part of something, we're going to be modeling that, and they're going to go out and do that as well out in the world.
I like to give our coaches the last word. So if there's anything else that you'd like to share with us, that would be wonderful. And then we'll leave it at that.
I think something this season that has been driven by this pandemic is that we have had the opportunity to have a number of our meets live streams on the NA Minutemen YouTube page. And I don't know, I think that's been really great for people to be able to see our program and to see our fencers. I know our fencers like going back and reviewing those events and listening to the commentary. And, if you do get a chance to, I would go check that out.